Guys, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of me analyzing your replays, and today we have a PvP episode really fitting to my last video where I talked about the standard PvP opening. Today's episode will basically be all of my personal pet peeves in the ways people might be playing PvP in one concise game. Let's start. For today's game we have Magnath as our 4.5k Masters Protoss player, and he will be going for a style that I would never ever recommend anymore personally, and we'll be going through why I don't recommend the style anymore, plus maybe a few little things that we can improve on this style the way it's played by Magnath here. So to give some context to what I'm talking about here. Right now in PvP there are two major army compositions. There's number one, there is the most used Stalker based composition that goes either into Stalker with a little bit of Charge Load, or Stalker with Immortals, or Stalker with Disruptors, or really just mass Stalker. And that is the main composition because it just works so freaking well together with Disruptors, and because, in my opinion, Immortals are just not that good versus Stalkers, and we will find out why and how, and why I constantly say that Immortals suck. Now on the other hand, we have of course the Charged Archon Immortal based composition we know from the pre-patch, before the shield battery, before the charge nerf. That was the main composition for a while, and those are also the two main compositions Protoss players usually have in every matchup. But a lot of people are a little bit confused by the new patch, because they're like, I don't want to play Stalker Disruptor and I want to play Charged Archon Immortal, but the problem is, here comes Holy Hit, here comes me, and I keep saying, guys, Immortals freaking suck. Don't build Immortals. Immortals are so bad at countering Stalkers. They are actually the most horrible unit you can build in PvP. In this game we will find out why, once again. So, first things first, I said this is a lot of pet peeves here. First things first, Magnath starts with the Stalker Sentry, which I personally think is not good at all. I personally think Stalker Sentry is pretty bad, mainly because when your opponent sees the Stalker Sentry, they know that they don't have to worry about a thing at all. Like, you see the sentry, if I was the green player and I wouldn't be going proxy target right now, I would be seeing the sentry and I would put like 5 chrono boost on my props. I would just like get the nexus, get the 3rd nexus, get the 4th nexus, you know, maybe the 5th nexus, because in the next 25 minutes nothing can happen to me. Now of course that's a little bit overstated, maybe not, who knows. But yeah, no, Stalker Sentry doesn't really scout anything, in my opinion, that you need to scout when you go for the safe opening I was talking about in my prior video, which is Stalker, Sentry, because that way you keep your opponent in the dark and just grab the Nexus, grab the shield battery, grab another Sentry, and then warp in 2 Stalkers. And you're good in general, right? Also, putting chrono boost on the warp kit is also pretty good. So that's my first pet peeve right here, is the Stalker Sentry into another Stalker Sentry? No, into Stalker, which is, to be fair, Stalker Sentry actually is kind of good at scouting out a Stargate, not a proxy Stargate mind you, but it's kind of good at scouting out a Stargate. It's not necessary to do so, because you should be ready for the Stargate anyways, right? So it's not necessary to do so, but it's kind of good at keeping you a little bit safe, so it's not the worst thing. The 2 Sentry follow-up afterwards, also not the worst thing. This is very standard. 3 Stalker, 3 Sentry is the composition you would arrive at. Or whether with the Stalker opening you would arrive at double Stalker, triple Sentry, and then warp in 2 Stalkers instead. Now you have 1 more Stalker, that's fine, right? That's fine. We keep the Stalkers here in the main base, which is kind of we kept the army in the main base for a long time, even though we have the shield battery there. As you can see, the second Oracle just now popped out, so we didn't have to do that, which made us be a little bit more vulnerable in the front, but that didn't matter for this game because no push was happening in the front. Now we have a setup of 2 Sentries, 1 Stalker here, 2 Stalkers here, pretty safe against everything. Our opponent moves in, focuses down the Stalker with the Oracles, which I would really not recommend, and we almost get the Oracle. Sheep battery is empty, but we overcharge a little bit too late, but I understand that. We don't want to focus on the small things here. I understand that, oh shit, I need to overcharge now, even though nothing is there anymore. And we are in a decent position. I think we might have missed some props out because we're not as ahead as we could be, but we're in a good position, right? We grab the forge first. We grab the forge first, which is... brave. It's brave. It's brave. It's brave. Okay, right, it's brave. But I think it's doable. Like, if you see the Nexus, right? If you see the Nexus, it's brave. I don't like that because it gives my opponent, if I go into Blink, it gives my opponent too much time where they have Blink and they will scout the Forge first, right? So they know they have like a huge timing where they can just do whatever they want to do with their Blink Stalkers. So you can't grab the third base, which is why I would not recommend it, but it worked out in this game. And then we go into Twilight Robo. Now, the big thing is about Robo Openers. Robo Openers themselves are not necessarily the worst thing. Robo Openers themselves are not actually that bad. They are a little bit too safe, if you know what I mean. Like, again, you can't grab the third as fast as you would want to. But there are people that go Robo into Twilight into Blink, because Blink is the essential upgrade. This game, that will not happen. We will go charge first into real quick High Templar Archives into Immortal. So first thing, I would always build Observer first, always, because the main reason you want the Robo that early is for the Observer in case of DTs. That's the first thing. But second thing really is we charge first is going to lead to some trouble, and we will find out in what way specifically. Now, if you followed my standard openings, what usually Protosses do is they grab the Robo and then they grab the Nexus. Now, when you see, as the green Protoss player, you see the Forge, you could just easily grab the Nexus. And suddenly you as the Robo player, like the pink one, Magnath, you're just behind. You can't grab the third base. As you can see, there are like this amount of Stalkers here that could actually kill you in this exact moment. If these Stalkers would blink in, you are fucking dead. You're just dead. You can't do anything about that. You are just dead. Because, well, I mean, you went Forge first. See what I mean with, like, you can do everything? Like, your opponent can do everything when you go Forge first. Like, they could grab the third base and could kill you, because if you look at the minerals, they have the minerals for that. And you can't do anything about it. Like, if Secret Ninja would decide to do that now, he could just blink in. Actually, does he? Oh, he's safe. He's safe. He's like, nah, I'm gonna stay safe. Like, if it would have been me, I would have just blinked and been like, oh, what? No, let's go. Going for the four gateways and floating minerals, right? So we have theoretically already mentioned why we now should be in a bad position, but we aren't, and that's important. We aren't. We are not in a bad position because our opponent didn't punish any of our decisions, like the Forge, like the charge, because now we don't have as much movement. He's trying to trade with us. Doesn't quite work that well for him. Can't really trade with, like, you always have to have like a certain amount of Stalkers. He doesn't have an amount of Stalkers right now. So we will see what will happen in a game where we would not have made these decisions with a quick Forge, where we would have gone for the Robo, then the Forge, then the Twilight. Now we're in a game like this. It shouldn't be in a game like this. Again, as I mentioned, Green Protoss could have punished everything. I want to mention this a lot because it didn't actually happen. I just want you guys to know about that. But we are now in a game where those decisions have been made. Everything is kind of normal. One person going for the Immortal Charge on Archon, the other person going for only Stalkers. Only Stalkers, right? In terms of build order and everything, there isn't too much wrong. We are not behind in workers. We could be building more workers, but the problem is we can't be building more workers because we have to warp in so much shit, because we never know if we're safe or not. So we aren't actually that far ahead. Even though we have the third base, we are not actually that far ahead, because we constantly have to be like, oh shit, like, can I warp in right now? Like, do I have to warp in? Like, you need a crucial amount of zealots, right? You need a crucial amount of zealots. We have the good production. We have eight gateways. We can't have more because we don't have the economy right now. And now, I think we know it's only mass Stalkers from here on out. Now, if we look at this army against this army in a straight-up engagement, I think the Immortals might actually win. There's the one good thing I'm going to say about the Immortals. The Immortals might actually win. So he sees that, tries to snap an Archon, goes back, and he thinks to himself, you know what Immortals aren't good at? Walking. Moving. So we just blink into the main. With a sentry even. My god, Secret Ninja, you meanie. We just blink into the main, get some damage done. Realize the force speed is not going to work out because of the Archon. And get an Immortal and blink out. And what do you do as an Immortal player? Nothing. You split up your army, but that means the Stalkers can be here now. So, my point is, you can't do anything. Like, this Stalker army can just play with you as much as it would want to. And as we established, usually a Protoss player grabs, like, if they see a Forge, they either outright kill you, or they just grab the third base instantly. And if they don't see the Forge and see the Robo, I think 4 gateways and then the Nexus still works out, and you will still have the same Stalker amount, and you're not going to be economically ahead. Right, in this game we are, because our opponent didn't build probes and didn't build the third base, even though he really could have. And the Stalker count would still be the same, and right now this Stalker count could easily jump on the Immortal. Okay, now it's a little bit more tricky because we don't have anything in the main anymore. But even then, guys, look me in the eye right now. Look me in the eye and tell me that this amount of Stalkers couldn't beat this army. You could just blink on top of the Immortals. And now if you answered, but holy it, come on, like no way. That's 3 Immortals, no way. No way Stalkers can beat that. Let me fast forward. That's a big amount of Stalkers. Oh, we're kiting now, we're kiting now. We're kiting now, we're kiting now. More Stalkers, literally just mass Stalker. And I would have jumped on this army like 30 times already. Kiting, because we can do that. Now, Magnev did the thing of like really hardcore committing on the Immortals, which makes sense, right? Because with the Charge on Archon Immortal, the only really good thing against Stalkers is Immortals, right? That's the only thing you have, so you need more of them. But the problem is this right here. You just kind of die. So the best way to play with this is to go Stalker Immortal. That's the best way to play with versus like Mass Stalker, is go Stalker Immortal, or like just do Stalkers yourself, because as you can see, Charge on Archon Immortal is kind of a problem. And unfortunately, there isn't that much that could have been done better that wouldn't work as a like, oh yeah, but your opponent could have also done these things better. So there are like a few things that could have been done better. Again, the Forge we already talked about, like as a summary. The Forge we already talked about. If we still want to go charge, I think the one thing we could do, I think the biggest thing, the biggest change that we could do if we still want to play Robo first, and we don't want to go into Blink, which I would not agree with at all. Just get Blink. You have a lot more mobility. You can react at least. Like, it's only 150, just do it, right? But if you don't have that, the biggest thing is going for Robo first, so you get the production for Immortals going quickly. The problem with Immortals, one of the problems with Immortals is just how long they take to build. So if you get the production going quickly, you will have more Immortals, and as such maybe have a chance of snowballing. Again, all of the other points I've mentioned still apply. A lot. But if you really don't want to play Blink, just grab the Robo even earlier. You're still going to be a sitting duck, you're still going to have to react to all of the Stalkers, you're still going to get outmaneuvered the moment you get to 3 base, and the Blink Stalker player will still have like they can do whatever they want to. But at least you have more Immortals. And I think that's like the only thing that could have really been done. It's a very snowbally way, because it just snowballs so hard. It's not like with the other IAYR analyzer replays, where it's like a lot of like very like army movement, or you see this is where you fucked up your build and this is where that happened and shit like that. It just really snowbally and very theoretical. PvP is very theoretical right now, right? And the other thing is just build more probes, right? Like, we didn't really build probes at all. We didn't use the third base. Again, in this specific game, we didn't use the third base. So if we would have done that, we could have won this specific game. But in general, again, your opponent should have had the third base anyways. And unless you go for like a very specific committed push that is scoutable but really strong still, I would not recommend Robo openers at all. If you need, guys, if you watch this and you feel called out, go check out my last video about standard opening in PvP. That might be very helpful for you. I hope you enjoyed this video still, and I hope it was helpful. Guys, thank you all so much for watching. As always, I stream. It's different now. I have a different schedule. I stream 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. And I stream in the morning 11 till 15 CST, or rather CET soon after this weekend, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And of course, everything is linked down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the content. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, comment, all the other shit. Have a good one. Take care. Peace.